California earthquake today. Los Angeles was rocked by a powerful 4.2 magnitude earthquake. Some who felt it said it lasted about 10 seconds and it was really powerful. Now remember, we had a 6.5 point something earthquake north of Vancouver Island, and I told you that in a few days we would have an earthquake in the Ridgecrest area or Southern California. Well, this is it. And we noticed that we've had that happening quite a lot lately. I'm not a geologist, but I observe what's happening. The pressure hits down there. The pressure from north of Vancouver Island, which is basically like a ship. There's a lot of movement on Vancouver Island. Not many people live there. Most of them live on the mainland of Vancouver, British Columbia. But Vancouver Island is like a ship. There's a lot of movement there. And you can see here, this is the magma under there. You can see the same mantle plume coming from Baja going into the western area and all the way to Cascadia. And then the eastern branch here goes from the Baja area into Utah, up to Yellowstone, then turns 180 degrees, turns west, superficial under Idaho, which is still having the earthquake swarms after the 6.5 magnitude earthquake that came out of nowhere on March 31st. Well, I shouldn't say came out of nowhere, because 2 weeks before that, on March 18th, we had the 5.7 in Salt Lake City, Utah, and that's the same magma plume as we saw from the maps. Now, what's happening here? Obviously, it's a big enough quake to be felt. It's not good because it's on the San Andreas Fault, and we know that earthquakes beget earthquakes. And also the geologist, especially Dr. Lucy Jones, especially after last year's 6.4 and 7.1 at Ridgecrest, came out saying that the Ridgecrest big quake did not in any way lessen the probability of a major quake on the San Andreas Fault in the Southern California area of Los Angeles. So, this is, they did tell us to be careful and wary about that. Powerful 4.2 magnitude, rocked California, hitting near Los Angeles, San Fernando Valley. Now, residents of California rocked by this 4.2 magnitude earthquake this morning being around 4:30 local time, a.m., at a depth of shallow 7.9 kilometers. That's about 6 miles down. It hit around 20 miles from Los Angeles. It also hit California 1.3 miles south of Pacoima, just 1.4 miles south of San Fernando. The epicenter of the quake was also 4.1 miles west-southwest of Granada Hills. Basically, Los Angeles. Okay, what can we say? Los Angeles. It's a very big city, so, it was felt the whole. We're going to see the maps, the shake maps as well. Now, witnesses were quick to report the earthquake which struck in the early morning hours. One witness near the epicenter wrote, "Strong, violent, and loud, lasted about 10 seconds. Another witness from San Fernando said it felt very strong and long. Another witness, also from San Fernando, said, "Definitely felt it. Our walls shook first, and that was what alerted us, and then our beds. We got up and just stood there, lasted around 10 seconds, I think, maybe less." Several witnesses claimed the shake from the earthquake woke them up. And we'll take a look at the map to see how much liquefaction was taking place there, especially if they were near the valley. Now, one person from North Hills, around 8 miles from the epicenter, reported a horrible rumbling. They said, "Woke us from our sleep, where we clearly felt our house rocking. Chandeliers were swaying. The dog went scattering out of the house into the backyard. We definitely heard that horrible rumbling that comes from deep within the earth. Luckily, it did not last long." An aftershock rocked the region shortly after the first quake. A magnitude 3.3 shake was recorded hitting at the depth of 9.3 kilometers at about 10 minutes after that. So, it's unclear if there has been any damage or injuries caused by the earthquake. Los Angeles International Airport wrote on Twitter, "Airport operations are normal following an earthquake this morning. Crews have inspected the airport with no reports of damage." California, as we know, sits on the Ring of Fire. It's on the San Andreas Fault, and it's the biggest and one of the most dangerous faults in the world. The longest fault in California, as we can see there, that perpendicular line is the Garlic Fault, and those squiggles up there past the valley is Walker Lane Fault System. on which most of the high-threat volcanoes of California, including Long Valley Caldera, where we've had a lot of Nevada quakes next to that on a daily basis. Something is going on there with inflating magma. Now, this was from Express UK details by Darren Hunt, and let's go to see the maps of what's happening there. Okay, this is the shake map of the area, and this is it, Los Angeles area. If we put in the population density, it's going to be black with population. It's very, very dense. And what's happening? Okay, it's because we can't see because of the shake map intensity. Take it off. Okay. And take off the population. Okay. And you, let's take a look at the faults. Okay, that's the San Andreas fault, the Hayward fault, the Garlic fault, and this is the Walker Lane fault system. That's Mono Lake of Long Valley Caldera supervolcano and the Inyo craters, and this is the area of Nevada that's had right here. We have the area of Nevada that has the tremendous amount of earthquakes over a month now. I would say 2 months. Remember what happened in Ridgecrest when Ridgecrest had a tremendous amount of earthquake swarms before the big earthquake? Ridgecrest, again, is in a volcanic field, the Coastal Volcanic Field, and this is the Walker Lane fault system. You see thousands of little faults that make up the Walker Lane fault system, and this is where all these high-threat volcanoes of California are located. So this is our shake map area. Let's go in more, and you'll see, if you extrapolate the shake maps, obviously this whole area has been shaken, especially around the valleys which have liquefaction. Now, do we have any liquefaction here? No, they don't have the liquefaction here. We don't have liquefaction. We can't see that. Okay. I guess if it were a bigger earthquake, they would have that on there. So, how many people felt that? About 13,500 people reported it. Obviously, it's a very large, thickly populated area, so I would say everybody felt it, obviously. What's that? Shake alert. Oh, they did. Oh, you see that? Okay. They also informed people that they would be having an earthquake. Everything over 4 magnitude, they supposedly shake alert. Those who have the shake alert app, they were informed that there would be an earthquake. That has to do with the S&P waves. The shake alert comes gives you a couple of seconds to sort of take cover. Okay. So now let's go to the map, and this is it. Look at this. These are the aftershocks. This one just turned blue. The blue is the past day, and the red is the past hour. Okay, the red is the past hour, 2.6, 2.7, 2. Okay, this is just above the 2.5. Let's go into all the quakes and see what's happening there in the area of San Fernando and Granada Hills. Okay, there we go. So this is the actual activity. Something very strange is happening there, as you can see. That's the activity. Earthquake swarm. It's a big earthquake swarm. Earthquake swarm. And look at the past hour. It's about 20 in the past hour. And Palmdale. Okay, let's pull out again. That's the Garlic fault right there. That's Ridgecrest. So people out there, you have to be very careful. Something is happening. As we said, earthquake begets earthquakes, and the 4.2 and an earthquake swarm is not good. I would expect. We also had one here. Okay, on the in the Gorda Escarpment 4.1, and I don't know if they took off the. Did they take off the one that we had? Yeah, they took it off. The one that we had around here. Okay, this is the one here. This is the Canadian map. Okay, the 5.1, Port Alice. The 5.1, you can see the amount of activity we have there around Vancouver Island. That was the 5.1. I thought it was a 5.1. That one there, 5.1. And that was about 6 days ago. Okay, so that always, and we also had the Aleutian Islands, of course, earthquakes. And that pressure hits. They take the quakes off if they're over a week old from on this map. But obviously you can see that we have a tremendous amount of activity there. Unfortunately, they do not book the Canadian quakes. That's why I have the Canadian map here. You can see tremendous amount of quakes going on here as well. 5.3 around the Yukon territories. And this thing here is another supervolcano. Those are kimberlite volcanoes that there's a lot of diamonds up there. Besides the fact that they have oil and gas, a lot of diamonds up there as well. Okay. Yeah, so you can see, oh, this is another quake today in Maine. Maine, 2.6. Does this have the 2.6 Maine volcano? No, they don't have the Maine volcano. 2.6. 2.2 of the 29th. What does Canada have it? On the 29th, Canada books it as a 2.6 magnitude. Why is it that the USGS books it as a much lesser value? I have no idea. But this is what we said before, that Maine has 5 volcanoes. Okay, four of them in a 100-mile radius. They're just off. Basically, it's a continuation of the, here we go, of this thing here, of the East Coast Seamount, which has 30 underwater volcanoes. Right here, 30 underwater volcanoes, basically pointing towards Maine and the eastern seaboard. Okay, so all of you there, please be very careful. And as you can see, we still have earthquake swarms going on in Idaho. Still have earthquake swarms going on around Utah. And the area around Long Valley and Mena, right there, Nevada. That's Long Valley right there. And Mammoth Lakes is end here. Okay, Bodie, California. And this thing here is Nevada, where we have, I don't know how many, I think 11 or 12 volcanoes there. It's a volcanic field. The whole of Nevada is a volcanic field. And this is what we saw before in the map. The Baja California mantle plume, the western area goes under San Andreas Fault. All this is Salton Sea is a volcano, mud volcano with a geothermal plant. Ridgecrest is coastal volcanic field with a geothermal plant. Long Valley supervolcano caldera has a geothermal plant. And something's going on with these Nevada quakes. There's a couple of, I would say 3 or 4 volcanoes right next to Long Valley caldera in Nevada. Just because they're across the border calling it Nevada doesn't mean it's far from Long Valley supervolcano. Anyway, all of you there, please be very careful. Thank you for your support. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.